Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the MAJLIS of Hazrat MAULANA QAMAR UZZAMAN SAHEB Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Friday morning at the residence of Hazrat Wala, Friday, the 29th of Shawwal 1444, corresponding with the English date 19th of May 2023. Hazrat Wala starts off by quoting the surah of the Quran Majid, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ عِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Hazrat Wala is saying that the thought came to my mind that I should speak about this particular surah, keeping in mind of the recent incidents, etc., of the shahadat of these people that met up in the accident, so that it could be a reminder, tazkir, for everyone. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to continuously speak about and make tafsir of these small surahs of the Quran Majid. Rather, in his majlis, he would make tafsir of this year, and then he would go on to say, so tell me, do you know what's the meaning of wailul likulli humazatil lumaza? And then the person would not be able to make tarjuma of that, and that was his ma'mul, and his style was that. And the whole idea of all of this was so that some type of shikastagi and lowliness would come into the nature, tabiyat, the heart and the mind of this person. Rather, we should actually think in this manner, that I don't know it. Where is our knowledge in front of the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So much we have heard about Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and others. This la adri, I know not. This year is a great knowledge on its own. Rather, that is so much part and portion of suluk and tasawwuf itself. Our Buzrugan-e-Din had no formalities, and they were not reluctant at all in saying, I don't know this year. It comes in the riwayats. Here we saying, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. That 20 times Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to read Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And keeping this in our mind, this year will be a great means of a person making a tarakki. So, in Rahman, there is umum, most compassionate, there is umum. And in Rahim, there is khusus, khusus in that. It is more specific. So the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaches us that even the animal would not place its hoof upon its young. Now all of this year, it is because of the barakat of the one portion of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which He let loose, the benefits of which we are enjoying here in this dunya. And the 99% in portions of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be more, or especially for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ummatun mudhnibatun wa rabbun ghafur, a sinful ummah and a very merciful Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you would find a category of kuffar. They would be destined to Jahannam. Then you would have the muttaqeen. They would be destined to Jannah. Like how Allah Ta'ala speaks about them. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي ظِلَالٍ وَعُيُونٍ وَفَوَاكِهَ مِمَّا يَشْتَهُونَ كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا هَنِيئًا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. كُلُوا وَتَمَتَّعُوا قَلِيلًا إِنَّكُمْ مُجْرِمُونَ وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. So Hazrat Wala then starts quoting these ayat of the Quran Majid. So here, in these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about the muttaqeen. Verily, those with taqwa shall be in shades, meaning they'll be enjoying themselves in the shade of the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah, and then the shade of Jannah, and springs, fi dhilali wa uyun, wa fawakiha mimma yashtahun, and the fruit of their choice, mean what they desire. Kulu washrabu hani'an bima kuntum ta'malun. They will eat. They will be told, eat and drink with all blessings as rewards for the deeds that you carried out, meaning here in the worldly life. Inna kadhalika nadzil muhsinin. Thus do we reward those who do good. وَيْلُ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. May misery be the end of the rejectors on that day. So Allah Ta'ala then first speaks about the muttaqeen. And now Allah Ta'ala starts speaking about the mujrimeen, saying, كُلُوا وَتَمَتَّعُوا قَلِيلًا إِنَّكُمْ مُجْرِمُونَ. Addressing the kuffar of this world, Allah Ta'ala says, eat and enjoy yourselves for a few days. كُلُوا وَتَمَتَّعُوا قَلِيلًا. Eat and enjoy yourselves for a few days. إِنَّكُمْ مُجْرِمُونَ. You are certainly sinners and will soon be punished. Quoting this ayat here, Hazrat Wala speaks about Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya, and he would say, Imroz khushast, walakin farda khushnest. That today everything is glitter and glamour, pomp and glory, everything is running and working your way. However, tomorrow is no good. Meaning tomorrow is something to fear about. Tomorrow won't be good, meaning on the day of Qiyamah, what will we do? How will we do? And he would say this year, Imroz khushast, walakin farda khushnest. Saying this year, he would burst out crying. Who was this? It was the very same personality, celebrated wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who would feed on a daily basis so many hundreds of people. And everywhere you get these type of people saying that what wonderful food he is feeding us. I really just wonder, over and above this, how much greater a food and a meal and cuisine he must be having for himself. So, in the old days, you had to have these cracks in the doors, etc., informal, etc. He goes to the door and he starts peeping that what is Hazrat actually eating. And to his surprise, what does he find? The very same food that was cleaned off from the dastarkhan of the people that he fed. From there, he was taking out leftover meat and he was sucking those bones. Allahu Akbar. Nizamuddin Awliya, rahimahullahu ta'ala. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to quote this particular incident, and such an amazing type of spiritual state, an ajib kayfiyat, would overcome him and overwhelm him. He would also say, initially when we came to Allahabad, the Imam there, he was from Kashmir, and he would recite these verses quite so often, Innal muttaqina fi dhilali wa uyun. And Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to remark and say, the Imam parta hai, lekin samajhta nahi. That the Imam is reading, but he's not understanding what he's reading. He's not reading it with keeping the meaning in mind. So this here was the spiritual state of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab. Now tell me, we read through the hal of these Buzurgan-e-Deen. So should we not have at least some type of gum, remorse, grief and regret in our hearts that we do not enjoy that spiritual state of these pious people? What to do? People are not even listening. People are not even reading about these type of waqiyat. Now tell me, usse barkar koi wise hai? Tell me, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib's andaz was this, and I'm saying this to you people. Can there be a greater admonisher than the Quran-e-Majid? Yahi tasawwuf, yahi suluk, yahi nisbat. This is this path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, suluk and tasawwuf. So he would cry, saying this here, that Imroz khushast, walakin farda khushnest. Today, it's fine, everything is good, but tomorrow may just not be good. Hazrat Wala, speaking about Surah Takathur, which we just quoted to you, and he speaks about the waqia that this people, husband and wife, couple were in this ship. And there was a Muslim, they were non-Muslim. A Muslim person was reciting this ayat of the Quran-e-Majid, Alhaakumut takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir. Rivalry in amassing wealth has made you negligent. It has made you heedless of fulfilling Allah's commands, hatta zurtumul maqabir, until you reach the graves. So he says that these people, husband and wife, who understood the Arabic, Angrez, English, British people, they understood the Arabic and they started discussing amongst themselves, are we not part and parcel of this here? Are we not in this, that rivalry in amassing wealth has made us negligent of fulfilling the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala until such a time that we will actually reach the graves? And then they're looking at the people there in the ship as well, that all of them are in their own world. It was this one ayat of the Quran-e-Majid due to which they had accepted Islam. Zulumatum ba'duha fawqa ba'd. Darknesses, some of it overwhelming others. Speaking about the ocean. So this Angrez, Englishman, asks, so tell me, did your Nabi ever come and ever travel at sea? He says, what about travel at sea? He never ever traveled even to Jeddah. He never ever even traveled to the shores, leave alone being at sea. He hasn't seen the sea. So he says, then this can be nothing other than the kalam and the speech of the Almighty, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the naqsha and the picture that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is drawing here, it can only be of a person who has been at sea that can give such a type of a description. So Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to try and create this in people. That's why he used to ask, that tell me, what is the translation of this verse? What is it this here? So that a person would be caught there and then he would start thinking, and some type of this lowliness and this feeling that I did not accomplish, I don't know all of knowledge, which he wanted to create in people. Al-ajzu fakhri, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to say that helplessness, this humbleness, this expression of humility in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is my pride. Inna lil-ilmi tughyanun kama ka-tughyanil mal. So ilm also comes with its type of rebelliousness, like just how with wealth, there's a type of rebelliousness that comes with it. So a person has some type of knowledge and then he becomes proud and arrogant. And Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to also say, he would add this to the ibadat and say, وَكَذَا لِلْعِبَادَةِ, that many people also get proud and arrogant and become rebellious because they look at their ibadat and they think that nobody has carried out ibadat just like them. Today people have just little type of knowledge and this and that. They don't even greet. They don't even make musafaha properly. So we need to bring tawazu in ourselves. Jisne mitaya apna naam o nishan, Haft iqlim ka bana sultan. So when a person humbles himself, he lowers himself, he doesn't do it for that. He humbles himself for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what happens? This is when he will be blessed with the nafs mutma'inna. The nafs mutma'inna is actually the low-lying land. He lowers himself so much. That is the description. I mean, what is this land and earth all about? We trample upon it. That's how much he lowers himself and his nafs. And then he becomes so high in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he becomes worthy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing him. And Allah ta'ala doesn't even address the nafs lawwama and the nafs ammara. But he lowers himself so much in front of Allah. He understands what's his maqsad here in the world. He understands what to do and how to stay and how to live. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then calls him, فَدْخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي. Enter amongst my servants. Now you don't have to stay here. You have made enough mujahada. You lowered and humbled yourself enough. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to say, and his andaz was this here, that Allah Ta'ala will say to you, you are becoming proud and arrogant, you read some type of wazifa and couple of tasbeehs here and there. The malaika of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala have been non-stop in the ibadat of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala since the time they were born. Where is your zikr in front of their zikr? And you becoming proud and arrogant. So this was the special mazmoon, the article and the bayan of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib. Rather, from our akabirin as well, I think it was from Hazrat Shah Abdul Aziz. What about him? For him, the nida came at the time of death, of Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna. And not only that, people who are around there even witness this. So make dua that we also are blessed with this type of great ni'mat. You know, Jahangir used to sleep very little at night. And people used to say, his courtiers and his ministers, that Hazrat sleep a bit. And what would he say? What would he answer? He would say, Umre Aziz, dar khab naguzarad. Khab gira, dar peshast. He would say that I do not want to spend this very precious life of mine and time of mine in sleep. I just don't want to pass time in sleep. Rather, the great deep sleep is ahead of us. It's coming. Once we pass away, it's there. It's there. So this year is for all. Even for the Maulvi and the Qari and everyone. When the Nabi himself is muhtaj and in need of this type of ta'limat, for us to ponder and make tafakkur and tadabbur, shouldn't we be doing that? وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. So this ayat of the Quran Majid, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, addressing him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, saying to him, rather commanding him to come out of his private chamber. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ. Restrain yourself. You would have to make sabr, but restrain yourself and come out in the company of those seeking His pleasure. They call their Rabb morning and evening. Do not shift your attention from them with the intention of acquiring the adornment of this worldly life. Do not obey him whose heart we have made heedless of our remembrance, who pursues his passions and whose every affair entails transgressing. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then comes out of his private chamber, and he comes to these Sahaba, and then he says to them that, listen, what are you people doing? And they say that we are making a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are engaged in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says to them, I have been commanded to sit with you. And then he comes and he sits with them. Allahu Akbar. You would not get it here. You have to go out and sit with them. So ye tariq hai. This is the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is stipulated, it is designated, it has been set out for us. मैं अपना नाम और निशान मिटा बैठा, शोहरा उड़ा दिया मेरा किसने. I hid myself, I erased all traces and effects about myself. I just wonder who went around spreading this word of mine and making me popular and famous. So the first one was the share of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, and the second one was that of Hazrat Maulana Haji Imdadullah rahimahullah ta'ala. There was this person, and for 40 long days he was looking at the benefit of that hadith, that a person spends in ikhlas and lillahiyat and ibadat, etc. The hadith, you can go through it. And the reward of it there is that Allah Ta'ala will then let flow from his heart the fountains of hikmat. So after 40 long days pass and he did not find the desired effect, he comes and he complains to his mother, and then his mother says, yes, you have actually done it so that those fountains of hikmat can be start flowing from your heart. You did not actually do it only and solely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. So that now had become ghair. That had become ghair, due to which the desired effects did not fall and did not open up in front of you. And today also, for us as well, we are not seeing the desired effects because of this very reason. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to say, "Do char kadam bhi nahi chale." We did not even walk 2 or 4 steps. We did not even walk a few steps in this path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Fatehpur, in the initial days, a person came, and then every now and then he started saying that I also stayed by Hazrat Tanvi rahimahullah. I also stayed by Hazrat Tanvi. After that, bas, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah then scolded him. You are saying here that I stayed with Hazrat Tanvi, so you can come get some special treatment here, etc. Or you trying to say this or that or the other. Who did you stay for? Did you stay for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or you trying to show me here or the people in the Khanqa that you stayed in Tanabon with Hazrat Tanvi? And with all of this here, you desire that this whole system of Islah, etc. that we do here in the Khanqa, for you it becomes maaf. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to quote this particular incident of this woman making tawaf. And then she stops and she says, but what about this here and what about this, and can't you make this maaf and can't you make that maaf? So where can this alim make tawaf, or the other points that are there, that can you take this out and can you subtract this and can subtract that? How can he make that maaf? And how do you people want us to make maaf islah? How do we make it maaf when it is faraz and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned about it? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. So hatta zurtumul maqabir, until you reach the graves, to such an extent they would compete and this was the heights of takabbur and pride. Even takabbur, Hazrat Wala is saying, it actually comes because of foolishness and stupidity. Inna lillahi ibadan futana طَلَّقُوا الدُّنْيَا وَخَافُوا الْفِتَنَا. Verily for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a certain very intelligent servants of His, they abandon and divorce the dunya and they fear trials and tribulations. نَظَرُوا فِيهَا, when they looked closely at it, عَلِمُوا أَنَّهَا لَيْسَتْ لِحَيٍّ وَطَنًا, they understood very well that this place is not a permanent abode for anyone. Now I must sing that portion, is escaping my mind. Nevertheless, the translation of it is, they make the entire dunya into that of water, and they make good deeds their vessel and their boat, so that they can move from one side to another. So if a person is aqalmand and if he is intelligent, then he would do good deeds. You know, when Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab taught us Riyadus Salihin, this is mentioned in the Muqaddamah there, he was so affected by it that he said, write it down and give it to me. And you know, for years he left it at his head side. Now everybody's hal is not the same. Many people are teaching Bukhari Sharif, but Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, this is how he was affected when he used to teach all these type of mazameen, articles, etc. You know, these people that were with us in Ramadan, and this accident took place, you know, they used to go themselves, and they used to prepare the food for me and bring it. So these articles and these topics are not only for Abu Jahal and Abu Lahab. This here is for us, so that we can have fikr for the akhirat and have concern for our affirmation and rectification. So I was saying, Jisne mitaya apna naam o nisha, haft aqleem ka bana sultan. That person who humbled himself completely and totally had then become the leader of all the worlds. Main to apna naam o nisha mita beta. That I humbled myself completely, I lowered myself, I hid myself, I erased any effects and traces of myself. Shohra uradiya mera kisne. I wonder who went about making my name so famous and popular. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, he was an ashik of Hazrat Haji Imdadullah. You know, you look at the Ash'ar also, how his matches so closely Hazrat Haji Imdadullah. You know, on one occasion we were in the vehicle. I was with Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, and Maulana Ali Miya Sahab was also with us. And then he asks and poses a question to Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, saying to him that, Hazrat, who was your teacher in poetry? Meaning this Ash'ar and your balance and the couplets and all the rules, etc. So he says that, no, nobody really taught me. Allah Ta'ala had taught me. This was inspiration and something divinely given to me by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He also asked another question, Hazrat Maulana Ali Miya Sahab, that Hazrat, at that time there were so many great luminaries. What is it and what was it that you made ruju and turn your attention to Hazrat Maulana Badr Ali when he was not that popular or famous? His answer was this: Ajib wa gharib nisbat ke hamil the. He was the bearer of such a unique, great and amazing connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is nisbat ki wajah se main gaya. I went for that wealth that he had. Thereafter he went on to say, he was also a graduate of Jamia Azhar in Egypt. And more than that, he knew the entire Bukhari Sharif by heart. Hazrat Maulana Badr Ali used to say and tell people, I have 4 children. 3 of them are dunyadar. Their attention is quite locked and fixed towards the dunya. And one of them, ek dindar hai, referring to Ahmad, meaning Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab. And he used to go on to say that this is my genuine son. Asli larka hai. This is my genuine son. Nevertheless, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of living our lives according to the dictates of this particular surah. So then, kalla sawfa ta'lamun, never, this rivalry will not benefit you. Soon you will come to know, meaning the errors of your ways. Thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun, never, this rivalry will certainly not benefit you, but you will soon come to know the truth of this after death. Kalla law ta'lamuna ilma al-yaqeen, never, if you had certain definite knowledge. Never, if you had certain knowledge, meaning of reality, you would not have become preoccupied yourself with this rivalry to accumulate wealth like this. لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ, you will definitely see Jahannam. Meaning, by Allah, because of your preoccupation with this rivalry, you will definitely see Jahannam when you enter it. ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ, you will then surely see it with the eye of certainty. Meaning, you will then be unable to deny its existence. ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ, thereafter, after you had seen now the reality of the Akhirat, on that day, the day of Qiyamah, you will definitely be questioned about the bounties. About the bounties. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, addressing Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, فَإِنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا, you are in front of us, you are just beneath our gaze, we are looking at you. So, if aankh ke samne, if you are in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then how would you live at that time? How would you conduct yourself at that time? You know, one surat is sufficient for a person's reformation. Rather, one ayat and just one verse is sufficient. Allah Ta'ala create within us and instill within us the shauq and the zawq, the thirst and enthusiasm for Jannah. And Allah Ta'ala create within us fear of the fire of Jahannam. Allah Ta'ala make us His beloved. Rather, Allah Ta'ala make us sincere, deep and ardent lovers of Him. And Allah Ta'ala bless us with those ni'mats in the Akhirat. So these people in the accident became shaheed. Those who have been wounded, Allah Ta'ala grant them complete shifa. Now, very, very well known, the ustad of many of you sitting here as well, Mufti Saeed, it was his daughter-in-law, we're talking Mufti Saeed Palanpuri, his daughter-in-law, and the grandson also involved in that hadisa and accident there. Allah Ta'ala bless them with the darja of shahadat. And while we are making dua for them here, because of this barakat of the dua that we are making for them, may Allah Ta'ala make our maghfirat. Allahumma ighfir li hayyina wa mayyitina wa shahidina wa ghaibina wa saghirina wa kabirina wa dhakarina wa unthana. Allahumma man ahyaytahu minna fa ahyihi ala al-islam wa man tawaffaytahu minna fa tawaffahu ala al-iman. You know, on one occasion I said to Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab, Hazrat mein ja raha ho. So he said, where are you going? When I said to him, I am going. So I said to him, Hazrat, I'm going to visit someone who is sick. So just spontaneously he says, maybe chalunga. I'll also join you. He didn't ask, where are you going? He didn't ask, who is the person that's ill that you are going to see? So who's the sick person? Do I know him or I don't know him? Nothing like that. This is how thirsty and enthusiastic he was to carry out these type of a'mal. I was affected by Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahib. I'll tell you about this year. When he used to come to the khidmat of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to say, Maulana, you sit here. And he would then seat him on the charpai and on the bed there. And then when the majlis was over and he used to leave and he used to go, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to then now look under his pillow, or by the time he would get this money, etc. Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahib, patle duble, he was a thin person. And before you knew from where to where he was walking and he had already reached his destination, I would then go chasing after him, and then I would find him at the destination where he was staying there, and then I would present to him then that 10 rupees, which we can say in these days was equal to about 200 rupees, 100 or 200 rupees. And how much of qadr he used to make of that. And the fact of the matter is, Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahib came to Allahabad a long time before Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib came. Then too, when he came, in the initial stages, how much of taklif he underwent. Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, when he came, now look at the capacity of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahib. He said to those who were bay'at to him, he said to them, listen, you people must go, and I'm handing you people over to Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib. And then he said to others as well, who then came to him after that listen, Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib is here, and I will not make anyone bay'at. And this year was that example of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani, regarding whom the ulama, the mashayikh at that time said that Hazrat is here, going to take bay'at to him, we will not make anybody bay'at now.